Good morning, YouTube, and today I have for you my updated Red Eyes Black Dragon deck profile. I'm going to give a forewarning beforehand. This is not the essential competitive build if that's what you're looking for, but man, this deck is so fun. I've had so much fun play testing it just over time. Thoroughly enjoy this deck. I've been playing Red Eyes since ever I could. And now it's with the release of Dragoon, it definitely can do something. And so we'll explain as we go. So let's hop right into it. Starting off with our monsters, run a playset of the OG Red Eyes Black Dragon. This isn't essential to necessarily run a playset. You could definitely justify two, but I like it since it's essentially a Red Eyes deck. And decided to just go with these three artworks because, I don't know, they each have their own special thing that goes with them. And we do run two of the Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon. A lot of people I see are opting to get this out because realistically it can be a dead draw, but it just does so much. And then this the Gemini effect can even, it wins games. It wins games at times, so I like to keep it in there at least two. I run two of the Alternative Dragon, semi-new. Just by attributing a Red Eyes monster from your hand, you can special summon it, and that's fantastic, and it even has a nice little additional power boost if it sends to the graveyard. Next, probably one of the best Red Eyes cards. Realistically, it is even a Red Eyes card. Black Metal Dragon. Sent to the graveyard, search for any Red Eyes card. Straightforward, pretty simple. Even if you link it off with a Link Karibo or anything else, it's fantastic. You can just search for anything you want. Now we're going, because this is a pretty heavy fusion build, we run the Dark Magician, Summon Skull, Gearfried, the Red Eyes Iron Knight, and Meteor Dragon Red Eyes Comet. So obviously, you know, Dark Magician, pretty straightforward for Dragoons. Summon Skull, because if you want to use Red Eyes Fusion to bring out your Archfiend Black Skull Dragon, you kind of need him in there. And he's special summonable due to some of our other cards. You could definitely justify not running him. Gearfried definitely has its own place in the deck. He is a normal summon monster, and he can actually do stuff when to hopefully, you know, with interactions with your Black Metal Dragon. So he's not dead draw, which is fantastic. I'm still debating. I don't know. Do you like guys like the Secret Rare or the Ultra Rare more? I don't know. Next, I want to run one of Meteor Dragon Red Eyes Impact. It gives you some extra burn for game, brings out the highest original attack of the fusions, and he actually has some protection if he's Gemini summoned. So I like to keep him in there. Obviously, if you don't run as heavy as a fusion build, or if you want to focus more on getting Dragoons out over and over again, then you can definitely bump some of those down. Now here are the four really weird ones, and I keep on going back and forth whether or not I run them. So first off, Blackstone Legend, what's really nice is he can get you to your extra Red Eyes if you need it. He is a level 1, so if you don't run one of your run into one of your Black Metal Dragons, you can actually use them to link off and potentially go for some other plays. 1-for-1 target, gets you some recursion to shuffle back into the deck some Red Eyes, so that's why he's in there. Red Eyes Baby Dragon, same situation in the fact he gives you plays if you activate your Red Eyes Fusion without any other effects. It gives you a monster set, can so hopefully float. But again, that's iffy, unjustifiable. I don't know, we'll see. Red Eyes Retro, because a lot of times, you know, if you just bring out a bunch of Red Eyes monsters and they get destroyed, then you can special summon them all back in him. So he's decent. Again, one of those iffy things. And Dark Dispel Dragon. Now this is really weird, is that over time I find him being less and less justifiable in the deck, because a lot of times you want to keep your Red Eyes on the field. Like obviously, you know, you could banish a Blackstone Legend if you just normal summon it and then go for a Red Eyes Black Dragon or something else, but it's not as powerful in this deck being so straightforward and basic. In a deck that's going for combos and extensions, that's definitely good, but you might consider taking this out if you're aiming for more of like a pure weird build like I am. Speaking of weird techs, run 2 of Noctavision and 2 of Vishuddha, the Tenny Spirit. So I opt to only run 2 and 2 because this way you run into, like, if you run into one, then you're less likely to run the second copy or the second copy of the same one. So Tenny Spirit. Vishuddha is definitely just a free special summon. He's a level 7, so he synergizes fantastically. You can go into your rank 7s really easily, or potentially go into Verte Anaconda. And Noctavision is a similar situation. If you get a special summon, like let's say you go for a normal summon your Blackstone Legend, you can tribute special summon a Red Eyes and bring out Noctivision, boom, go for a rank 7. So it's just there. It's definitely a valid effect, and I definitely love running 2 of each. Wouldn't recommend changing that ratio. Moving on to our spell cards, we're going to play a playset of Red Eyes Fusion. I keep on going back and forth whether or not we're going to run 2, because if you see 2 in your hand, it's kind of a dead draw. And there's so many ways of searching this in the deck that you almost don't even need to run a playset. But it definitely gets you into these fusion plays, and it's a really fantastic top deck, especially with how heavy-centric of a fusion build we have. So I currently am running at 3, trying it out there. Next run, a playset of Red Eyes Insight searches for any Red Eyes spell or trap card in the deck. I don't run as heavy as you could, but definitely great card. Dumps a Red Eyes to graveyard, can't go wrong with that. 2 cards, the Red Stone. You have, I believe, 7 targets in the deck to discard and draw 2, and then dump a Red Eyes. So I at least run this at 2. But again, it's a hard once per turn, and you don't always run into one of those 7. So I only keep it there for that reason. Next, for some revivals, run a playset of Return of Red Eyes, gives you protection, special summons monsters, fantastic. Swing of Memories. What's really nice is that this can actually go for some of your dead fusion monsters. And the fantastic thing is, too, is that if you go into, let's say, a Gemini monster, you can genuinely Gemini summon the monster, and it gets rid of the effect of having to destroy it at the end of the turn, which is fantastic. So it's essentially a free special summon. And more often than not, you're going to link or exceed it off, but it exists there just for some extra recursion. Next, we do run a Monster Reborn, because blanket special summoning is fantastic, so that's why I keep this nice little lineup of reviving monsters, because you dump stuff so often that all these cards can be alive at some point or another. Next, we run a 1-for-1 to typically go into your Black Metal Dragon, but it also gets you into your Blackstone Legend. No argument there. Dragon's Mirror. Now, this is a really weird tech because it specifically requires you to go into a Dragon fusion, which leaves out Dragoon. But it can get you into some very special things, which I'll even show you one really nice one later on. And it's just an extra fusion and can get you some plays to hopefully keep you in the game. You can definitely justify not running this in there, going for some more consistency cards, but I like it as is. Next, we run a Call by the Grave, because we want to get our fusion going off as often as possible, so we definitely run that to allow us to do that. 1 Return of Red Eyes and 1 Red Eye Spirit. I only run 1 and 1 of each because they're both searchable and they both have their own niche effects. For example, Red Eye Spirit can bring back Dragoons, whereas Return of the Red Eyes Return of Red Eyes gives you the ability to bring out back any normal monster continuously. So each one of them has their own niche effect. They're a little bit slow, but they definitely get the job done when you're looking for it. So I definitely run a 1 and 1. And that's it. The deck's 42 cards in the main. I decided to keep it at that because you're less likely to draw into your dead fusion materials, which you can actually use from your hand if you have run a Red Eyes Fusion. But more often than not, you want to go for some cards that can help you extend a little bit more. Going on to our extra deck, we of course run the new Red Eyes Dragoon, because he's awesome. Run 1 Red Eye Slash Dragon, because he goes with the Gear Freed and gives you some extra pops and stuff like that. 1 Meteor Black Comet Dragon, because it gives you the ability to just burn for some extra damage. And again, he is the highest original attack one, and he gives you the ability to special summon from the graveyard if he's destroyed and sent to the graveyard. And 1 Archfiend Black Skull Dragon, because this can give you, I guess it's not so much of a common thing. He's an Armini's on attack, so your opponent can't respond to his attacks, and at the end of the battle phase or damage step, whenever he declares an attack, then you can return a Red Eyes from the graveyard to your deck and then burn. So there's a lot of burn aspect, and that's what the deck used to revolve around, but now it's just so much more versatile. Each one of these 4 ones has their own niche time and effect and place, and I just love running them because, I'm going to be honest, I'm just a big junkie for this kind of old effects, so I enjoy them. Next, we run a Borreload Furious Dragon. It just requires 2 Dark Dragon monsters, so primarily you're going to be using that with your Dragon's Mirror, because he just can give you some things, some spot removal, and just some extra stuff that you can use to, push for that extra bit of damage in game and stuff like that. And he's generic enough so that you can potentially get him out. And then the other Dragon's Mirror target is First of the Dragons. You banish stuff normal monsters from the graveyard, and we run a lot of Gemini monsters. We run a lot of vanilla, as they call it, normal monsters. So he's easy to bring out. He's unaffected by effect monster effects, and he can't be targeted, destroyed by a battle with an effect monster. So there's oftentimes, you know, if they're running something that will not, like some back row that doesn't get over monsters, you can just sit on him until you can extend further and actually push for game. So I thoroughly enjoy him in there. He's really, really gimmicky, but I enjoyed him in there, and he always comes in clutch when I need him. Next, Xyz, run 1 Link Reba, because just linking off your Black Metal Dragon is fantastic. Same thing for Anima, Relinquished Anima. Not as powerful as it used to be, but still fantastic. 1 Predapent Verite on Anaconda. Just being able to go for the fusion on your opponent's turn can allow you to go for some extra plays in your turn, hopefully. So we run it in there at 1 just because. Next, moving on to our Xyz. Being as I do run a lot of 7s and ability to recur the graveyard, we can go into a lot of these things. So we start off by running 6 of your Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragons. You know, 1 of each artwork. You got to go for that. No, just kidding. We're going to place it because realistically, with as much extenders, it's not uncommon to see 1, maybe 2, and on rare occasions 3 of these on the field. And you pass your turn with 3 of these on the field, they're very, very limited in the number of effects they can activate. And having to get over all 3 is its own special task that they have to go through. So I like to run this at 3 just because, and even if they get through 1, you have the ability to go into a second one. So I wouldn't recommend running less than 3 if you have the option to. Next, I run a number 11 Big Eye because stealing your opponent's monsters is fun. 1 Dark Arm to the Dragon of Annihilation. Sorry. I really thoroughly enjoy this card because it allows you to give an option that doesn't require you to have 2 Xyz, 2 level 7s on the field if you have 5, exactly 5 Dark Monsters in your graveyard. And you're going to be recycling and changing that number so often that you can bring them out pretty easily. It gives you some nice extra spot removal, so I like them in there. And rounding up our extra record 1 number 28 Titanic Moth, because this can essentially like a Gaga Cowboy for Red Eyes. And there's plenty of other options, of course, that you could run instead of him. I just like it in there because there's, you know, if you have it there as the option, might as well use it, right? And that is going to wrap up my Red Eyes Black Dragon deck profile. Again, this is not designed for the most consistent and efficient way of winning with this deck. Obviously, there's so much you can do with the Guard Dragons that can allow you to extend even further and go into more combos and end with a more dominant board. But I'm somewhat of a purist, I guess, and therefore I kind of aim for this. Obviously, there's a lot of things that I'm iffy about in terms of what I should keep in there. So I'd be definitely up for any recommendations. It's just the personal build that I've gone with at the time. I figure I just want to throw it out there so you guys can have some basis if you're aiming for more of a casual way of playing the deck. Again, just love the deck. Love, you know, like there's a reason I run 3 different artworks because I just love having the different variety and the options, and they've done a solid job of making each one of the artworks for Red Eyes and making this deck look so beautiful. And so I do my best to try and make it look as beautiful as possible. So anyway, let me know in your opinion down below what you think of the deck, what you would change, because obviously, you know, you're going to have different opinions than I will. And, you know, thanks for trying this weird camera angle out today. And have a great day. Thanks.